Continental Airlines was a legend of US aviation, and in a sense, lives on today. Today, I'm taking you along on a journey, not to show off some modern jet, but to go back in time, to explore the current experience on one of Continental's aircraft still flying today. It's United's 777-200ER, a staple of their wide-body long-haul fleet and a reliable workhorse. What has changed since the days of Continental? Well, come along as I record my experience and compare with the Continental of old. My journey started in Dallas-Fort Worth, where United only has a small presence with connections to their main hubs. My flight was to originate from San Francisco, so first was a short hop on one of United's 737 MAX 9s, a flight of about 4 hours from DFW's Terminal E to SFO's Terminal 3. It was an uneventful flight with United's normal service and a stark reminder of the current modern design philosophy. I mean, just take a look at this picture of how Continental used to outfit their 737s. What a difference. Anyways, this flight was over in no time, and soon I found myself within the walls of San Francisco's International Airport. Given that I had several hours to kill during my connection, I visited the crowded Centurion Lounge. The lounge had great views of the United section, but also allowed for some short glimpses of non United airframes. After 3 hours in the lounge, I headed to the gate. The aircraft taking us to Frankfurt, Germany was a 19-year-old 777-200ER, originally delivered to Continental Airlines in 2007. The registration changed in 2010 to United and has been serving United ever since. Recently, this 777 was configured from the older 267-seat configuration without United Premium Plus to the newer 276-seat version with Premium Economy included. Our aircraft for this flight had come in from Newark before a rotation to LA and back. This was to be the aircraft's first rotation back to Europe in a few days, with its last long haul journey being a rotation to Paris. Soon enough, an on time boarding call was made, and I was ready to get on United's storied 777. I was in Group 2. I found myself towards the back of the plane, past two cabins of Polaris Business and the small cabin of Premium Economy. I was in 45A, a window seat in Standard Economy. The cabin was modern, with large screens and adequate legroom. A blanket and a pillow were provided. All right, sitting in a old Continental 777-200ER. And apart from a few quirks, like the fact that there aren't any individual air vents and the individual air vents are above in massive vents like you find in a house, there isn't really a lot different. It just looks like any other aircraft or cabin in United's mainline fleet. Before long, we began to push back, and I was able to catch one of ITA Airways Airbus A330s all the way from Italy. I absolutely love their new livery. As we lined up on the runway, the GE90s began to spool up, as I was also reminded that United ordered the Pratt& Whitneys for their 777s, while Continental's 777s had the GE90s. Shortly after takeoff, United came around with a pre departure drink and an appetizer snack, which consisted of cheese and breadsticks. I thought this was a nice addition compared to the normal pretzels or package of cookies. The Wi Fi speed was pretty miserable and didn't feel worth the $20 or so I spent for the entire flight, though the views outside were definitely worth it. Soon, the main meal arrived. The days leading up to the flight, United had shown the options on an electronic menu, with three options being above average for standard economy. Of course, once the flight attendants got to my row, my preferred option was out of stock, so I settled for the butter chicken, which was alright. Included was a special 100-year anniversary blondie, which, if you don't look at the ingredients list, is a nice touch. All in all, it wasn't a bad meal, and a step above what I experienced on a recent flight on Delta's A350. Before putting my eye mask on in an attempt to get some sleep, I took a look at the lavatory, which is showing some age even if the rest of the cabin isn't. It was, of course, cramped and pretty dirty. I then checked out the in-flight entertainment, which was pretty decent. There were lots of options and nice curated selections of activities while also offering Bluetooth. Of course, I was tracking the entire flight throughout, which is made easier with new channel sponsor, Buy Air. You've already seen clips of the Buy Air app throughout this video, but give me a chance to tell you about how Buy Air lets you stay ahead of every flight. I actually use this app already for my personal travels, and personally reached out to the team to see if we could collaborate. Buy Air is a comprehensive travel and flight tracking application with automatic flight tracking, live trip updates, and automated predictions, helping you navigate delays, connections, and probably my favorite feature of all, a one-stop shop for tracking your lifetime flight details with customizable breakdowns. Adding your information is super easy and takes only minutes of setup. Best of all, Buy Air is offering an exclusive offer to viewers of the channel, a 30% discount on your first year subscription. Find out how to sign up in the pinned comment down below.
These 777s seem to have been retrofitted, unlike the 777-200s, not the ER versions, which are used on a lot of domestic and Hawaii routes. These have been reconfigured and are pretty premium heavy with two separate cabins of Polaris Business, Premium Economy, and a fairly sizable economy layout. So these are generally newer. I think this one was about 19 years old versus some of United's older 777-200s are in their 30s.
The flight attendants had come in the middle of the night to offer a sandwich, which I didn't quite have the appetite to eat while half asleep. Later, though, a full breakfast was offered, including a selection of mini pancakes, which I struggled to pick up with just one hand. It was pretty tasty, and unlike other breakfasts I've had before. For comparison, my research shows that a continental breakfast, in and around 2006, would have consisted of a fruit platter with yogurt and a croissant. Which option would you have preferred? United has clearly spent a lot of resources on retrofitting their older Continental aircraft, and this example is no exception. The only elements of the Continental experience remaining is, of course, the shell and the choice of General Electric engines. Given the new efforts into renovating these airframes, United seems poised to keep them for a long while. At this point, we began descending over Europe. For a 10-hour flight, the United offering was pretty decent. 2 hot meals and a substantial sandwich with a modern cabin and a good entertainment offering. It wasn't anything spectacular, but that wasn't exactly the point. If you have made it this far, please consider sticking around by hitting the subscribe button with notifications turned on. I produce interesting aviation-related videos twice a week and have another flight review coming very soon. Anyways, my journey to Frankfurt came to an end with a smooth landing and promotion for my favorite sports team in the world.